Couple quick things before this video starts. Firstly, massive thank you to Chivo for editing this video. He's been editing a whole bunch of stuff for me recently, so I greatly appreciate it. Secondly, this reaction is taken from a couple months back from one of my viewer music submission live streams, which yes, will be returning this week. I know I didn't do any last week, but I'm hoping to get them running again this week. We do these streams every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday at 3 PM UK time, where you can basically stop in, send me some music, or just listen to the music that gets sent in and chat to other music nerds. As always, these videos are not meant for me to give objective criticisms of the artists or albums I'm listening to, particularly not with older albums like the one that I'm listening to today. They only really exist for me to share my opinion and get yours in return to create some interesting discourse. And of course, like and subscribe, we are on our way to 3K, and yeah, enjoy the reaction. Okay, this album is absolute, like, icon status classic. Everyone knows this album. Okay, look at this. Hundreds all around. Brad Taste gave it a 95. Addy has it at a 90. High key, better than anything the Beatles have ever done. Stellar, this thing sounds amazing so many years later. Two trusted sources giving this album a 9 out of 10. Pitchfork haven't reviewed it, which is kind of strange. The Pitchfork haven't reviewed the Doors self-titled? Yeah, this album is iconic. Legendary. A true classic. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Human Reviews channel, and today we are listening to The Doors by The Doors. Chivo has just sent this album in during a paid request stream. Thank you very much for sending that in, Chivo. Yeah, I'm very excited to get into this. This album is an actual classic, okay? Everybody loves this album. Everybody's heard this album except me. This thing is more than iconic. This thing goes even a step above iconic, okay? My expectations going into this album are ridiculously high, okay? I'm not expecting necessarily a 10 out of 10, but I am expecting this to be like one of the best albums that I've heard from the 60s, okay? I am so ridiculously excited to get into this, okay? This album came out in 1967. It's 11 tracks, 44 minutes. The closer to this album is 11 minutes long. I am just gonna get straight into this. Break on through to the other side. I think I might have heard this song. Night divides the day. Try to run, try to hide. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side, yeah. Oh yeah, I've heard this. That riff is iconic. Chased our pleasures here. Dug our treasures there. But can you still recall the time we cried? Break on through to the other side. Break on through to the other side. Best vocal reverb? Yeah, this sounds amazing. Okay. Not only is the vocal production incredible, the vocals themselves are just as good. I'm glad you like the glasses. I like these glasses. It's an absolutely fantastic open to this album. I have heard that song a couple of times before, but I mainly just remember it for the riff because that is an iconic riff, let's be honest. Yeah, that's a fantastic way to start this album off. Already flexing the incredible production. This has aged practically perfectly. The vocals on that were amazing. Is it Keith Moon? Jim Morrison. God damn it, I mixed the two up. Yeah, Jim Morrison vocals outstanding, incredible. I love his vocals so much. I'm feeling like a 9.5 on that opener, honestly. That's a That's a pretty incredible way to start. Next track, Soul Kitchen. You got the same glasses? Nice. Keith Moon is a drummer, you're right. I don't know how I mixed up Jim Morrison and Keith Moon. You can tell that my brain is a little fried right now. I'm very, very tired.
Well, the clock says it's time to close now.
Who did Keith Moon play with again?
I guess I better go now. I really like to stay here all night. The car's
The Who, that's it.
all stuffed with ice. Still one place to go. Let me sleep all night in your soul kitchen. Warm my mind with your gentle snow.
That is a toy dinosaur made of clothes of my relatives.
Fingers we quick minarets, speaking secret alphabets. I light another
I got it when I moved into this house.
cigarette. Learn to forget.
I do kind of love that thing. It's like such a great thing to have in the background. I've not heard too much from the Steve Miller Band. The stuff I've heard I thought was okay. It's not really my thing necessarily, but I don't know.
Well, the clock says it's time to close now. All night. All night.
Nice. Yeah, really strong follow-up to the first track. Yeah, again, just absolutely incredible instrumental. Production, again, has aged wonderfully. Vocals, fantastic. That one felt a little more subtle than the first track did, and I honestly really like that. I feel like that is actually a perfect way to follow the first song up. Camera froze at the best point, of course. I love this new camera. It's great. Yeah, I don't think I like that one quite as much as the first track, but I still thought it was basically fantastic. Give it one a flat 9. The Crystal Ship up next.
Before you slip into unconsciousness, I'd like to have another kiss, another flashing chance at bliss, another kiss, another kiss, and filled with pain, enclose me in your gentle rain. The time you ran was too insane. We'll meet again. We'll meet again.
I love the placement of everything in the mix. It feels like you're actually listening to the band like play it right in front of you.
Oh, tell me where your freedom lies. I'd rather fly.
Alright, Sadie, thank you for being here. I will see you
The
on Wednesday.
crystal ship is being filled. 1,000 girls, 1,000 thrills, 1,000,000 ways to
That was great. Man, this album, it's not missing so far. 9.3. Yeah, I'm loving... Man, they are just, like, flexing their incredible production with all 3 songs. Like, this... It is criminal that this sounds this good when it's nearly 60 years old. So, it sounds actually amazing. Again, the placement of everything in the mix as well makes it feels like you're actually listening to like a live performance. Which, intentional or not, I think that adds a lot to this. I love just how spacey and eerie this is, whilst also being surprisingly inviting and catchy at the same time. It's a very delicate balance that I feel like these first 3 songs have found, but this one in particular, that is kind of making this for me so far. Honestly, that was really, really strong. Next up, 20th Century Fox.
Well, she's fashionably lean, and she's fashionably late. She'll never rank a scene, she'll never break a day. But she's no drag, just watch the way she walks. She's a 20th Century Fox. She's a 20th Century Fox. No tears, no fears, no ruin years, no clocks. She's a 20th Century Fox. Oh, yeah, yeah. She's the queen of cool, and she's the lady who waits. She's a 20th Century Fox, 20th Century Fox,
I got hot dogs.
20th Century Fox. She's a 20th Century
Fantastic. A little more energetic than the previous 2 tracks, and I like that. It's definitely a lot more immediate, and I think that's a really nice change of pace. I feel like this song maybe could have been a bit longer to be a bit more fleshed out, but besides that, I have actually 0 complaints. I would give this one a 9.2. Sounds nothing but heat so far. Alabama song, Whiskey Bar.
Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die. Oh, moon of Alabama, now must say goodbye. We've lost our good old mama. I must have whiskey, oh, you know why. The way to the next little girl. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why.
Huh?
Show me the way to the next little girl. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why.
Wait till I hear the end.
For if we don't find the next little girl, I tell you.
Love how bumpy this one is.
I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die. Now must say goodbye. We lost our good old mama, and must have whiskey, oh, you know why.
Nice. You know, they say that this was the original. This song's a contradiction because of how happy it sounds when the lyrics are so down. It's true. They're talking about soaking away their sorrows in alcoholism whilst having the most, like, plucky, bumpy, fun instrumental on top of it. And I think it works perfectly. That was a cover? Wait, really? It's timeless, but it didn't age well. Yeah, the Find Us the Next Little Girl thing was like, huh? I still like that. It was still a very fun track. Probably my least favorite up to this point, but still not by too much. It still gets a high 8. This album hasn't missed yet, honestly. Next up, Light My Fire. I think I've heard this one.
Untrue. You know that I would be a liar if I was to say to you, girl, we couldn't get much higher. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire. The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
It is ridiculous how incredible this sounds, dude. The sound of this is actually flawless. Polyrhythms in my 60s music. 2 over. Is it 3 over 2 or 2 over 3? I don't know which way around I said. I'm gonna assume it's 3 over 2. I don't even know if that was a polyrhythm. I love eating on stream, you know? It's the best. It's already been 5 minutes of this song, by the way. Actually defying the laws of time.
The time to hesitate is through. No time to wallow in the mire. Try now, we can only lose, and our love become a funeral pyre. Come on, baby, light my fire. Come on, baby, light my fire. Try to set the night on fire.
Not only is that the best song so far, in my opinion, I would also give that song a 10. Absolutely. Flawless. No notes on that song. From the absolutely gorgeous instrumental, the maybe my favorite vocal performance on the album up to this point, the immaculate pace. Oh my god. See, this is why I don't like eating on stream, because I end up, like, burping constantly. The absolutely immaculate pacing. That entire middle, 3 minutes of the song, where it was entirely instrumental. Actual perfection. One of the best 60s songs ever. I've heard the song before, obviously, but it's still fantastic. I legit have zero problems with that song. Next up, Backdoor Man. Pork and beans. Is this a Weezer reference? I don't think I've heard the original version of that song, but I don't imagine it getting much better than that, to be honest. I think this is my second favorite so far, 9.7. Firstly, singing on that one, off the charts. Jim Morrison was actually just, like, putting, like, everything out on that song. That was, like, the vocals on that were insane. Secondly, the aesthetic of this song, and the album as a whole so far, is actually perfect. I love the general aesthetic of this. It's something very different from a lot of the other 60s stuff I've heard, and it's actually super unique, and it's making for such an interesting listen, like, that I'm really appreciating so far. This album is nothing but heat. Yeah, straight up, this album's not missing. Even my least favorite song so far is still a high 8, so. The End is 10 out of 10. I don't think I've heard The End, but I've heard a lot of people say it's, like, one of the best album closers of all time, so I'm very excited to get to that song. Next up, I Looked at You. Bass is incredible. I also, like, absolutely love this guitar tone. It is gorgeous. Also, one other thing I have to talk about is, are you hearing how well recorded these drums are? Like, for the 60s, like, recording drums must have been so difficult back then. Because you don't have all of these, like, little tiny mics that you can put above each of the cymbals. No, you'd have to use, like, proper room mics. The drums sound amazing. It's so impressive when I hear drums that sound this good in 60s stuff. Like, for example, on, like, Abbey Road, the drums sounded basically perfect on that. It is, like, insane. There's nothing I appreciate more in, like, 60s and 70s, even 80s music than, like, great sounding drums. Song was infectious as hell. One of the most aggressive songs up to this point, and I like that. I like that we're getting a nice, decent balance of more subtle, slower songs with more of the super high energy cuts, like that one. That was great. 9.4. That song's a great highlight of a great example. Sorry, not a great highlight. A great example of just how technically proficient the band are. Like, all of them were just so locked in, playing incredible parts, each of them, and also having it actually serve the song and not feel like they're going overboard with it. Or that sounds so good. We're down to the final 3 already, but then, like, the end is like 11 minutes long. I'm so glad that I've finally gotten around to checking this out. End of the night. If my camera would stop freezing, that would make this even better. Ooh.
Take the highway to the end of the night, end of the night, end of the night. Take a journey to the bright midnight.
Is this their first album?
End of the night, end of the night.
It is. Is this just like the best debut album ever? This is criminally good for a first album. This and the Velvet Underground and Nico in the same year. And that was the same year as this. I thought that was 1969 that came out. Oh no, 1967. It did come out the same year. No, I thought that one was 1969. Yeah, that's insane. Both of those debut albums in the same year. That's kind of crazy. Lou Reed talks shit about him in the Beatles. Lou Reed L, unfortunately. I mean, I think the Beatles are a little overrated, but, like, the Beatles, they're still great. And this is... This is still incredible as well. Yeah, that one a 9.8. That was my second favorite so far. Surprisingly, one of the more low-key tracks on the album up to this point ends up being one of my favorites. Yeah, I feel like that one just atmospherically was the most satisfying up to this point, as well as having one of the most fulfilling melodies. as well. I feel like that one is one that I could see myself returning to, honestly, maybe the most out of any song on the album up to this point. Yeah, second favorite so far, very strong. Take It As It Comes.
Time to live, time to love, time to laugh, time to die. Take it easy, baby, take it as it comes. Don't move too fast, and you want your love to last. Are you moving, must you, baby?
John Densmore is the drummer for this band.
Take it easy, baby. Take it as it comes. Don't move too fast. And you want your love to last. Are you the moving must do
Oh my god.
Go real slow. You like it more and more. Take it as it comes. Specialize in having fun. Take it easy, baby. Take it as it comes. Don't move too fast. Where you want your love to last. Are you the moving must you fast? Moving must you fast? Moving must you fast?
Nice. Yeah, another really solid, high energy track up to this point. I feel like in terms of drumming, that was my favorite up to this point. It had some really cool stuff going on. I've noticed that this drummer likes to do this thing where he's playing like a sort of beach sounding drum beat and then moving up to the toms and doing 2 tom hits. I've noticed that a couple times on the album up to this point. I think that's really cool. But yeah, drums are definitely the standout on that one. Not my absolute favorite up to this point, but still a very solid penultimate track. I'd give that a flat 9. Not bad. I say very solid and not bad. It's getting a 9. Like, it's still incredible, you know? But a song that I think is going to be even more incredible, we have The End. Okay, I've never actually heard this, but everyone says this is one of, if not the best album closer of all time. So I'm very excited to get into this. It's 11 minutes. Nearly 12 minutes. Actually, now that I think about it, comparing that song to like other songs that got low 9s, I think I like that one a little bit more than Soul Kitchen, which also got a flat 9. And I even think I liked it a little bit more than the 20th Century Fox as well. So I am gonna bump it up to like a 9.3, I think.
Beautiful friend.
This one's kind of Indian influenced, okay.
My only friend, the end of our elaborate life.
I have heard that opening bit where he says this is the end.
Everything that stands the end.
But I think I've only ever heard that bit in videos of people talking about the song.
Surprise the end. I'll never look into your eyes again.
Actually, has this been used in a film before?
Can you picture what will be? So
The End by The Doors.
desperately in need of
Used
some
in films.
stranger's hand.
Oh, it's in Apocalypse Now.
Desperate
Oh, during the opening sequence to Apocalypse Now. Okay, that'll probably be where I've heard the beginning then. I haven't actually seen Apocalypse Now, but I have seen the opening scene, I think.
Lost in a romance, wilderness of pain, and all the children are insane. All the children are insane. Waiting for the summer rain, yeah. There's danger on ride the King's Highway. Weird scenes inside the gold mine. Ride the highway west,
That was cool.
baby. Ride the snake, ride the snake to the lake, the ancient lake, baby. The snake is long, 7 miles. Ride the snake.
This is... Wait. Is that song from the Brad Taste soundbite? Is that a cover of this? I saw these... I looked over and looked at the lyrics and saw these 2 lines and just got war flashbacks. Is that a cover of this song? Damn.
He's old.
I've never actually heard the full song from that Brad Taste soundbite. I'm just gonna... It might not be true, but I want it to be true that it's a cover of this, and it's like the worst cover ever. So I'm gonna live with the assumption of that. The assumption of that assumption would be a better way of saying that. It's like hiking through a desert. That is... actually kind of exactly what this sounds like, yeah.
Is calling us. The blue bus is calling us.
It doesn't get... Oh yeah, no, the atmosphere of this is way too strong. And the way it progresses and like incrementally builds. And just the little things like that. Like that random little halftime for like a bar or two. They do such a good job of like keeping this interesting and keeping it moving at a consistent pace. And also just the lyrics are really interesting. So even if you do get bored by the sound, you have like an interesting lyrical. You have interesting lyrical content to dive into as well.
He walked on down the hall, and he came to a door, and he looked inside. Father, yes, son, I want to kill you. Mother, I want to.
That build-up was amazing. That actually caught me off guard.
Come on, baby, take a chance with us. Come on, baby, take a chance with us. Come on, baby, take a chance with us and meet me at the back of the blue bus. Do not blue rock on the blue bus. Do not. Come on, yeah.
Whoa. Incredible switch up. Swearing? In my 60s music? Really?
Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The swearing is actually perfect in context here. I actually kind of appreciate it more when there's swearing in 60s music because it wasn't really as common back then. So when it's used, it's normally pretty effective. The camera's freezing now more than it was earlier. I hate this camera. Like, the camera itself is like better than my other one, but it just freezes so much.
The end of laughter and soft light. The end of nights we try to die.
Yeah?
This
Hey.
is the
You being here is more than appreciated. Absolute masterpiece of an ending? Oh, absolutely. People are saying this is one of the best endings ever. I don't know if I don't know if I would say like one of the best I've ever heard. But I think it is a perfect way to... We'll let it cook at the end here. I think it's a perfect way to close this album off, and I think just a 10 out of 10 song in general. I wouldn't say it's my favorite album closer of all time. But, like... It's flawless. It's perfect. It's an excellent blend of everything we've had on the album up to this point. It's with it having a blend of the more subtle, soft, sort of, I guess, yeah, creepier moments that the album's had. I don't necessarily want to say creepy, but it's sort of the whole album up to this point has had a very like off tone. And I think this song, in the slower moments, does that perfectly, like to the best degree it's done on the album up to this point. And then the more intense moments, because they are used so sparingly on this song, and because they are hidden in between such incredible tension builds with the slower moments, I think they are the most effective they are on the album as well. I think this is the best song on the album, absolutely. This is a perfect closer, and I legitimately have no complaints. Like, no notes, nothing. Realistically speaking, there is no reason for me not to give this a 10. Absolutely incredible. And the fact that it's like, they pull off an 11-minute, a nearly 12-minute closer without having a single second feel boring or repetitive is super impressive as well. The use of swearing in this song is also very strong, which I only mention because it's a 60s song and swearing isn't as common. So it normally makes it either feel way more cringe or it makes it way more effective. And here I think it's definitely more effective. Just that one little section where he is repeating the swearing over and over again. Yeah, that was amazing. That song lived up to the expectations that were set by everyone, calling it one of the best closers ever. Yeah, that was absolutely incredible. A masterpiece of an ending indeed. Let's add up the scores for this album. My predicted score is a 96. That's what I think my score is going to end up being. Okay, I was 2 points off. It's not a 96, it is a 94. I'm feeling a 94 out of 100 on this album. I feel like that's all I really need to say. One of the best debut albums ever, near flawless. It's true. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Massive thank you again to Chivo for editing this one. I greatly appreciate it. Let me know what you think of this album down below. Do you think it's overrated or do you love it just as much as everybody else? Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't. We are on our way to 3K. There's links in the description to my Discord, my album of the year, my Twitter, and my other channels. Check those out if you haven't. And yeah, I will see you all whenever I next stream or upload. Bye bye.